The age of the smartphone is coming to an end, and a new epoch is starting. I feel like we are coming to the end of the smartphone era, and something is going to replace it, and I'm not certain what it is. There have been moments in time over the human history where we looked back and we saw everybody's sentiment go and make a complete 180. A good example of this in the recent history is the Vietnam War and the Iraq War. Initially, people wanted to enter those wars, and over time, it shifted. Complete 180. The sentiment went from yes to no. And it's remarkable to think that people could change their mind so radically and so dramatically. It gives you hope, actually, I think, because when you look around, you see the complete dependence on smartphones and you see just how damaging it can be. And I think that people are certainly starting to wake up to this idea that the smartphone era is ending. Things are changing quite dramatically. People are realizing just how bad these smartphones are for you. I know I've seen it personally. A lot of my dumb phone videos that I've made in the past have started to increase in views because people are interested in this. They want to get away from smartphones. They want to take their life back. They feel like they've wasted so many hours and days and years of their life scrolling on a phone that they don't really care about, and they're going to look back and it's going to be this wave of depression. I feel like there's going to be an incoming tsunami and we are not prepared for it. We're just not ready for it. There's going to be a moment when a lot of the younger people, they're going to hit a point in the next 10, 15, 20 years when people are going to look back and be like, what have I done? What did I do? I wasted my whole life scrolling on a phone and I have nothing for it. They're gonna look around and see other people who've done the same things and nobody's gonna know what to do. So I think we need to start now with a dumb phone, with a reduction in screen time, with managing your smartphone usage and understanding that this is a bad thing to use. A smartphone is inherently addictive. It was built to be addictive, and it is addictive. The apps on it, people are paid hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars every year to make these apps as addictive as possible, which means you probably shouldn't be using them. You basically aren't supposed to use anything that's addictive. I would say that that's a pretty good rule. If something is addictive, it's probably not a good idea to use it. Now, I'm not saying you can't use anything that could potentially be addictive. A lot of people who might drink alcohol, they like alcohol. It can be addictive. They might not be addicted to it. I think that's fine. I don't drink alcohol. I don't do any drugs. I don't do anything like that. I think it's a waste of time. I don't think you should do it either. As a general rule, if it's very addicting, maybe you want to be aware of that and maybe you want to consider curbing your usage. I'm realizing how poisonous these phones are, and I think a lot of people are too. For me, as a new parent, as a new father, my number one concern, the thing that concerns me the most, is how much my child uses a screen. They don't have favorite TV shows. They don't ever get to touch my phone. They don't ever get to touch my laptop. They don't get to use any of that stuff because they're kids. Let them be kids. Let's just let our kids be kids. We have one TV in this house and it sits in the basement, and we only watch it during family movie night or if we're watching a Browns football game. Those are the only two times when we get to watch TV together. I don't want to construct a family life that's revolved around screens, that's dependent on screens. I think screens can be a nice addition. When it's nighttime, you want to watch a movie. I think these can be nice additions, but I don't want them to be all my kid knows. That's my biggest fear. My biggest fear is that I look up one day and I'm at dinner with my family, my wife's on her phone, and my 3 children across from me are all just staring at iPads and tablets, and they're not even engaging with me at all. That's my number one biggest concern. Obviously, they won't have any of those things, so I shouldn't have to be that worried about it. But it scares me. I see a lot of people do that, and that scares me. And I think that as a culture, we need to push back. We need to make a 180. It's time to make a 180, and I think that it's coming. This is a hopeful video. I really believe it's coming. I was looking at the Google search trends, and dumb phone searches are the highest they've ever been. And it's a consistent rise. It's not a random spike. This is a consistent, steady rise since about 2020, 2021. No surprise, because people were forced by the government to stay inside and just all they could do is really stay on their phones. So it's no surprise that this has been a rising, rapid sentiment because people realize how bad these platforms are. They realize how bad Twitter is, how bad Instagram is, how bad Facebook is, how bad TikTok is, how bad this one is. All of these ones, there's good things potentially on each one of these platforms. That's a potential. My wife and I wouldn't be married. We wouldn't be dating. We would never have dated if Snapchat didn't exist. That's basically why I asked her on a date, because we were texting, she didn't respond, and I'm like, okay, I guess she's not interested. So she sent me a Snapchat a few days later, and I'm like, she is interested. And we wouldn't be together without Snapchat. That's just true. There are definitely some positives potentially to be gained from these apps, and we have to basically learn to be in a world where we can interact with these devices in a way that's positive, in a way that can be really constructive, and in a way that doesn't completely dominate your life. That's really ultimately what it comes down to, is learning how to live in a world with smartphones. There are a couple possibilities. One of them is a dumb phone. I have gone back and forth on so many times. I like the idea of a dumb phone. It ultimately makes sense. I'm addicted to a smartphone. Let me just get a dumb phone. That way I don't have the addiction. And it makes sense. But there are so many great things with a smartphone. And maybe I sound like an addict where it's like, oh, well, I could stop drinking and I could stop doing this whenever I wanted to, but I don't want to because I like it and I'm not addicted. But I really think that the advantages of a smartphone can outweigh the disadvantages if you manage the screen time properly, if you manage everything properly. Think about how many millions of dollars, billions of dollars have been made just because simply they had a smartphone. Not a phone, but a smartphone. You check the stock market, you invest on the smartphone. You do so many different things on a smartphone that can be really valuable and really helpful. I track all of my runs using a smartphone. I could do it on I don't need to track my runs, but I like tracking. I like seeing how far I go. I like seeing my pace. That's how I improve. So these things are actually really important. And I think that we as a culture need to learn to navigate. We need to learn to navigate this because the era of the smartphone overuse, it's coming to an end, and a new epoch, whatever it's called, is going to begin. And I'm not saying it's because I'm so smart and wise, but I feel like I started the trend. That's not true. And I will say that there is potentially a lot of great information out there, potentially on these apps. You're watching me tell you to put this app down, to put this phone down on your phone. So yeah, there's some good information out there. There's some good stuff. These phones aren't all bad. The internet's amazing. I love it. It's just we need to learn to manage it. And it's exciting to me that I really, really am hopeful in the next few years there is going to be a complete 180 on smartphones. And I promise you, this is a Techno Eclipse promise. I promise you, in 5 years, you're going to see so many dumb phones out in the wild. Flip phones are going to become a thing, and not the flip phones that are aggressively addictive and attractive, but the ugly ones, the ones that people don't want to use now. I promise you there's going to be a 180 reversal. I really believe that. I think that the culture is getting primed for that, and eventually something's going to happen where there's a complete 180. And I hope I'm right, because if I'm wrong, then it's going to be bad. I mean, it's not going to be good. It's not going to end up good. You don't have to be part of that culture. You could be your own person, and you can see what the culture is doing and say, okay, I don't want to do that. I don't want to live like that. I don't want to be that type of person. I want to be better than that. I want to be more than that. So you right now could take steps to reduce your screen time and reduce your smartphone usage. And I encourage you to do that. I really do. And I'm not just saying that because you think it'll get me clicks. Somebody told me that one time, which is so silly because nobody's clicking on a video telling them to stop using their phone. They're using their phone. So it's tough. It's an uphill fight, but I think it's a fight worth fighting. And I know at the end of the day that I'm right. So I can't not make a video without that, because I know I'm right. Like I know I'm right. I know this is good for people. And I look at a lot of other people and a lot of other YouTube channels, tech channels, and it worries me because technology is getting good. I mean, it's good out there, and it's really good. I mean, it's scary how good a lot of this stuff is. And I hope that you are aware of your screen time usage, of your phone usage, of your usage of these apps, and consider deleting them. Just consider getting rid of them, because there's that stupid saying that I always say, and it's so played out, but I like it. It's because it's a perfect way it's a perfect analogy. And it's basically the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time to do it is right now. And that's what you should look at. That's how you should look at your screen time. Yeah, you've wasted the last few years of your life. You have. You've completely wasted it. But you could change that. You really can. You could take that. You could take all those mistakes you've made, and you could say, okay, messed up here, messed up here, messed up there, messed up here. I'm going to fix that. I'm going to do better, because you have to. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself, and you owe it to your future self to do better, because you don't want to look back in another 6 months after watching this video and think, yeah, I haven't made any improvements. Then what are you doing watching this video? I mean, make the improvement. Do it. Do it. So do it. Just make the improvement. It's worth it. You'll be glad you did. Reduce your screen time this weekend. Go outside, go for a walk, go for a run, enjoy some time with family, enjoy the sunshine. If it's not sunny outside, figure something else out. Sit on a porch, sit on a balcony, just sit outside, get outside, use an umbrella, and your life will be better, and you'll thank me for it. So thank you for watching the video. It's time to reduce your screen time. Now's the time to do it. If you needed a warning or you needed some motivation, here's some motivation. Do it. This has been Scott with Techno Eclipse. I will see you in the next one. Peace out.